as well as his vocations through info.
Hey David, thanks for having me on today. Yeah, it's good to be here.
I apologize, I'm sorry. Can you just start again with the introduction? I apologize. The mic just suddenly dropped out and went to the in-studio mic with me for some reason. So if you just pick it up again, you're good to go. Sorry.
Just because I'm unfamiliar with it, do I want to be looking at David?
It's always better if you, it's actually always better if you look at David. You two are having a conversation. David initially looks at the camera as he's introducing you, and then from there. Now, if there's something personal that you want to look to the camera for effect, that's up to you.
But the majority of the time,
You should be looking at each other. Correct. Correct.
this is the right thing for the chair.
Hello, Spellman. We're here today with Father Luke, and this will be our first segment that we're doing together. Today, he will be speaking on his conversion story as well as his vocation story. Hello, Father Luke. How are you?
Good, thanks David. Thanks for having me on today.
No problem. How did it all start? How did you end up converting?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes people think that like my parents must have been very religious or that we must have always gone to church. But the truth is, growing up, my dad's Jewish actually, he's not Catholic. And my mom was raised Catholic, but both of them, by the time they were in high school, had really stopped practicing either of their faiths. And by the time I was born years later, neither of them had really practiced in a long time. So when I was born, my parents didn't take me to church, didn't take me to synagogue really. And so we didn't grow up with any faith, me and my brother. It wasn't until I was in high school and I was really asking all the big questions about life, like why are we here? You know, what's the purpose of our lives? What do we do with experiences of suffering and pain that we go through? What does it mean to love someone? To say I love you and I'm willing to love you for the rest of my life? Like, I didn't have any answers to those big questions.
So, out of curiosity, is that what helped you try to seek God and see like what was your purpose in life?
That's a great question. Yeah, it was really from those questions that the answer. I would say now, looking back all these years later, over 20 years ago, when I was 15, that it was really Jesus came as the answer. Some friends of mine introduced me to Jesus through Christian music, which at first I was like totally turned off by. You know, like one of my earliest memories is going to rock concerts with my parents. You know, and like I remember my dad taking us to a bar at the beach to listen to rock music and holding my baby brother in his arm in one hand and having his baby bottle and like a beer koozie in the other hand. You know, like listening to rock music. So the idea of listening to Christian music, I was like, ooh,
Right.
you know. But then, like my friends like persevered. They said like, no, it's cool. It's actually like we were listening to punk Christian music. So I listened and I started hearing something that I'd never heard before, and that was the message of the gospel. The message that God the Father created us because He loves us. He wants us to exist. And when we fell, and we fell into sin and slavery and pain and suffering, He sent His Son to be near us, to be close to us, and to ultimately save us from our sin. And I really had never heard it before. Like, when I heard about Jesus and like His birth at Christmas and stuff, I thought of it in the same way I thought of stories of like the Pilgrims and like the dinosaurs and stuff that happened a long time ago. But I never considered, is it real? Does it mean anything for me?
Right.
Until my friends introduced me to that music, and I started hearing God loves us and cares for us.
So I think that it's important that you would say that it's also about who you surrounded yourself around, like your friends, that influenced you into being able to seek God and find your purpose as well.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a wonderful point. Like, I was listening to punk music and ska music already. This is in the 1990s. It was really, ska was really popular at the time. Bands like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones and Real Big Fish were really popular at the time. And we would go to concerts and listen to that kind of music. But I remember this one distinct time of going to like a battle of the bands, and like it was just really angry and violent, and the music was so loud and kind of violent again. And I just experienced a lot of darkness.
And didn't sound the same during that time.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I realized the difference between when I listened to the Christian music, there was also punk and ska and everything, and then this really like violent, angry stuff. It just had a different effect on me. The one left me feeling joy and peace and a sense of hope. And I had fun with my friends dancing and being in the mosh pit and stuff like that was still fun. Where the other one just left me like feeling empty and hopeless.
Now, was this moment after you listened, your friends allowed you to listen to Christian music?
Yeah, I had probably for maybe like 3 or 4 months been listening to Christian music with my friends. Then I went to this battle of the bands. It's like it was during cross-country season. We were on the bus. When I first heard my friends talking about Christian music, they were talking about a band called Plank Eye. And I was like, Plank Eye, that's a weird name, you know? And one of them said, well, do you know what it means? I was like, I had no idea. And then she did one of the weirdest things I had seen in high school up to that point. She reached in her bag and she pulled out a Bible. And I was like, what? Like, who carries a Bible? Like, you know? I went to public school, like I never saw that.
Right, exactly.
And then we're on the bus coming back from this cross-country meet, reading the Bible, and she's like, see, Jesus tells a story about a man who has a plank in his eye, and his friend has just a little speck of dust in his own eye. And the man with the plank is like, well, let me help you. You've got something in your eye.
Right.
Meanwhile, he's got a plank in his eye, you know? And I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. Jesus has something to say about, like, life. And that happened back in the fall, where I first was interested, and I first started listening to those bands with my friends. Come wrestling season in the winter, that's when I went to that battle of bands, and I was able to compare my 2 experiences. Like, what was it like with my Christian friends, listening to that kind of music, and also starting to go to youth group with them, and praying some. First time praying in my life, having a conversation with God, and then that experience of just going to that very secular concert. Again, nothing wrong with music and going to concerts. I still enjoy going to concerts, even if they're not necessarily Christian. It was just at that moment, comparing the 2 experiences was like nothing I'd ever experienced up to that point.
And would you say this was a way that God opened your eyes to have a path set for you to change your direction, to find that way to get to Him?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. He knew that He had to reach me in a way that I could receive. So it was because of His love for me that He came to me through music, because He knew that was important to me, and it was a way that He'd be able to speak to my heart, in a way that I would be able to receive personally. He didn't just come to me generically or like as if I was just any other person. No, He came to me in a way that I could receive Him, and that was through music.
And that was actually my next question as well. Like, to those who are non-believers, would you please explain to them how God doesn't just come down out of the sky, like a genie and just start like, okay, you're gonna convert here. He comes in different ways where He sends messages as well.
David, that's perfect. Like, He comes to us sending messages. He's always coming after us. He's always pursuing us. He's always interested in us and trying to reach us. Whether that's, we see a beautiful sunset and we say, wow, there is beauty in the world. Or we see a father. The other day I was on the train and I saw a father taking his son to school, a little kid, and he was kind of holding him. He had his wedding ring on. I was like, how beautiful! It was such a beautiful moment, and it just made me think, fatherhood is good, and just these little ways, and then that maybe an experience like that opens you up to, maybe there's a father in heaven that loves us in that same way that dad was caring for his son, And so just to see how an awareness of those things. And I had a moment like that around this time when I first started listening to Christian music with my friends. It was actually just a few months before that in the summer. I had been surfing. I grew up on the Jersey Shore, and I was surfing with my buddies, and there was no waves. It was flat, so I'm sitting there really wanting waves, and I'm looking out at the ocean, and it was just so big. It was so vast, And I thought, I can't see it all. I can't see the whole ocean, and I thought, maybe there's more to life. It was just like this split moment where I thought, maybe there's more to life than what I can see right now. And I think that was really the opening that God used, there is more. And I'm part of it. And I'm going to show you just And God opened me up to the fact that there's a spiritual reality that's just as real, if not more real, you know?
And what are some ways that you can tell people how to open up that spiritual reality? Like, either through praying, either through reading scripture? What are some different ways?
I would think a first kind of way is just having an open heart. And that's something Jesus talked a lot about, is we can have hard hearts, we can have stony hearts, or we can have hearts of flesh, hearts that are open and willing to receive. Because that's the reality. God is trying to speak to us through nature, through the scriptures like you just mentioned, through silent prayer. He speaks to us in silence. A couple of years ago, the Pope said, somebody said to him, "Oh, Holy Father, sometimes when I go to pray, God is silent." And the Holy Father said, "Yeah, he speaks in silence." Like his voice, his language is silence. And so there can be even a richness to when God is quiet and he's just present with you there. So yeah, I would say nature, having an openness of heart, maybe a sense of wonder, will then give you the ability to receive what he's saying to you in nature, in the scriptures, and even in silent prayer. So yeah, open heart, wonder, nature, scripture, and just silence.
Okay, so now on to his to your vocation.
Sure.
How was that?
Yeah. From coming to know God and from coming to experience Him, I then decided to enter the church, because I found in the church is where I really know, okay, He's in nature, but He's also in the scriptures. He speaks to me there, and He's also present at Mass. Like at first I started going to Mass, I was like, what is going on in this place? You know, like, what is the priest up there talking about? What's he doing with the bread and the wine? But after a few months of going, there's just one day when the priest raised the host at Mass, and he said, "Behold the Lamb of God. Behold him who takes away the sins of the world." And I thought, yeah, if Jesus really became one of us and wanted to be close to us, why wouldn't he become food? You know, something that like, I'm always hungry. You know? Yeah, we all want. Yeah. And so why wouldn't he become bread and wine to be that close to us, you know? And from that moment, I was like, I want to be Catholic. I want to be able to receive him at Mass. This is the place where I can, if I'm missing him in nature and I'm not hearing him in silence, I know I can meet him here. So I entered the church April 11th, 1998. I was baptized, confirmed, and received Holy Communion for the first time at the Easter Vigil. That Saturday night before the resurrection, you know, when we first started celebrating Jesus' resurrection in 1998. It was about a year later, everything I had wanted to do in life, like the plans I had, just didn't seem good enough. It didn't seem like enough. So like, I grew up on the shore, down in New Jersey, surfing. I thought, let me open a surfboard shop. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Let me open, music is really cool. Like, let me open a nightclub where we can listen to cool rock and roll bands and like, have fun. None of that seemed like enough. Like, I didn't just want a job or a way that would support my family with, you know, financially. I wanted to know how I was supposed to live. And so one night, actually, the priest in our parish was leaving to go to a new church. And so we had a going away party for him. And I was there, I was a junior in high school. And there were some old ladies at the party, and they said, "Oh, you know, as you guys know, being a senior, right? Like, the only question an adult can ask you now is like, oh, you're a senior in high school?
Right.
What are you going to do after high school?" It's like September and you're already tired of it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's what they asked me. What are you going to do after high school? And one of them said these words, "Have you ever thought of becoming a priest?" And I immediately said, "No, but maybe my brother," you know, who was 6 years younger. I was like, "No, but maybe him." I was like, you know what, actually, I don't feel so good. I gotta go. And I like got out of there. And I went outside. The truth of the matter is, I was eating cheese, and I realized now I'm lactose intolerant. So I had, you know, it was a little uncomfortable. So I got out of there, and I went outside, and there's a beautiful little garden at my home parish. And I went and I sat down on the bench, and there's a statue of Saint Anthony there. And I started telling my God, like, Lord, you've been so good to me over this year. You've totally changed my life. I just want to get closer to you. And I've been playing with these little rocks in the ground, these like little pebbles, because I was nervous about this question of my future. And I opened my hand and I saw there was 5 little pebbles in my hand. And I thought, maybe some of these represent steps I've taken in my journey of getting closer to God, like going to youth group with my friends, listening to Christian music, maybe is one of those pebbles. Another one was going to Mass for the first time and starting going to church. Maybe the third one was getting baptized and actually becoming a Christian, becoming a child of God. I was like, what are those next steps? And as soon as I said that to the Lord, I just had this little image. It was just kind of like almost like a daydream, like a little image of a priest, I don't know who he was, going into church at night. All the lights were off, except you could see the red candle next to the tabernacle. And he walked up towards the altar, and he went down on his knee, genuflected, knelt down, said, thank you, Lord. Good night. And he just got up and went back to the rectory to go to bed. It was just so simple. Thank you, Lord. Good night. And I was like, that's what I want. That's what I desire.
That relationship with God.
Yes. Yeah, that relationship with God, like intimacy, and like friendship, right? Like that's what you say, like to a friend, like, hey, good night,
Exactly.
like thanks for a great day. I wanted that, and I thought, I think I'm called to be a priest.
Speaking of your calling, I would like to backtrack a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
You said you were thinking about opening up a surfboard shop or a music shop. As a priest, would you say there was a time that you tried to run away from your calling? Or
Yeah, so after this time, when I started feeling called to the priesthood, I was a junior. My senior year, I didn't know what to do with that calling at all, So I took business classes as my electives, and I took like a small business class and an accounting class. And in my mind, I had like, all right, when I open my surfboard shop, this is what it'll look like. I'll use these skills. So like, it wasn't necessarily that I tried running away from it, but I just didn't know what to do with it. And so I was trying to come up with other plans of what I could do. Because again, I didn't know what direction to take it,
And did prayer help you through that foggy moments of not knowing what to do with your calling?
Yeah, because I really knew so little about what it meant to be a priest. I was feeling this desire for friendship, for intimacy with God, for serving Him, but I didn't really understand the priesthood yet. And so I think it was continuing to go to church, continuing my personal prayer life, continuing to read the scriptures, that I started to understand more and more who Jesus is and what it means for me to be His disciple. And so that helped me to kind of refocus. Okay, yeah, it doesn't mean opening a surfboard shop anymore. It really means pursuing the priesthood. Even if I don't fully understand it yet, one day I will.
Right. Well, that's good. Is there anything else you would like to leave off with the viewers? Scripture or anything else important about your life?
Yeah, I think maybe just a final word is those great words that Jesus, that first encounter Jesus had with His own disciples. He draws near to them on the seashore of Galilee. They're fishing. They're doing the thing that they've done their whole life, right? And He comes up and He says, come follow me. And He disturbs their whole thing, right? Everything they had going on is all of a sudden like, wait, do we keep doing this or do we follow this guy? And that's kind of what it was like for me. It was like I was doing my thing, but I was really unhappy. I didn't have a lot of answers. I'm like, why are we here? Where are we going? But once Jesus came and met me, and I met Him, I knew the rest of my life was going to be following. I knew that He had a purpose and a plan for me, and He began to speak to me of the mission that I had. That there was something I was called to do that nobody else was going to do if I didn't do it. And so in that scripture, the disciples start following Him, and Jesus just keeps walking and they're following Him, and at some point He turns around and looks at them and He says, what are you looking for? What do you desire? And to me that's so powerful, because for each one of us, we have desires. Like God created us with desires. Just like in that moment of prayer, I desired friendship with Him. We all have desires. And to realize that those desires are important to God, that He cares about them. and that He also has desires for us. That He has dreams for us that are even bigger than the dreams we have for ourselves. And so there's been so many opportunities and experiences I've had since saying yes to Him and starting to follow Him that I don't know if I ever would have had if I hadn't said yes, you know? And I've struggled and tripped up along the way, but He's continued to be faithful to me.
And I think that's the major key, that we will go through rough times, but as long as we keep our faith in Jesus as well as in God, we'll be on the right path always.
Yeah, amen.
Well, that will be all for today. We had a very good segment with follow-up. There will be many more of these, and I hope you guys enjoy the video, and we'll see you guys soon.
God bless you all.
You done?
Yeah, stopped. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Done.
Awesome.